Hey Inspired Tribe, how's it going? It's Jean Nolan here, and today we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why free speech is really fought so hard and why censorship is everywhere today, one of which is oftentimes overlooked and one of which is absolutely unknown to the vast majority of people, and it's the most shocking one because when you hear this, your mind's going to be blown. But first, let me announce proudly that we have partnered with Dr. Vladimir Zelenko, whom you might have heard of a lot. And my family and I have been using and trying out his Z-Stack formula as an immunobooster, as a vitamin supplement, have had amazing results over the past weeks and months. Just a product we really love. Helps us stay healthy, helps us stay energized. His formula uses zinc, quercetin, vitamin C, vitamin D, a very potent mixture, and we're proud to invite you to use the promo code INSPIRED to save 5% off your purchase. And it's a product that me and my family trust in, and so we want to invite you to try it out for yourself, Z-Stack, and use promo code INSPIRED for 5% off. Link is in the description. Okay, Inspired Tribe, let's dive into it. One of the things that has been most prevalent over the past 2 years that has changed dramatically for all of us in all areas of our lives is the fact that free speech has really been fought very hard on the side of the government, on the side of the media, and that over the past 2 years, so many people, whether that's in the scientific sector, in the medical sector, but anywhere else, you and me online, on social media, on our websites, we've been censored and we've been basically told that we cannot speak freely anymore, all in the name of fighting misinformation. I want to give 3 reasons why this is really happening, and one of which is really overlooked and most people have never heard about that. But the first reason obviously is that when you want to keep something from the public, you make sure that those people who speak to the public can't do it, or you shut them down. So this is the very, kind of straightforward, brutal approach, and we've kind of always seen this, but it has never been as systemic and as organized and as prevalent as it has been over the past 2 years. The whole thing with kicking people off social media, with deleting channels, and all these restrictive new rules and regulations on all platforms are something that is fairly new in this intensity, and we're seeing this rolling out everywhere more and more and more. People are not just being deplatformed, they're being debanked, they're being blacklisted, they can't do business anymore, and all simply for expressing their views and opinion. Now, free speech it's the golden ticket for any free society. Once you lose that, there is no freedom, there is no free society. And free speech, yes, it does include for the ability for someone to lie, it does include the ability for someone to even spread misinformation. And this is the downside, if you will. But the motto here is that bad speech is always beaten by better speech and good speech. So it's really important to understand this first reason is simply to suppress information. It's always been done, it's always been here, simply not in this intensity. The second reason is more dire, and it goes deeper than that, and it is generational. So what happens is when you kind of forbid or ban certain topics from certain areas of speech, and areas of speech are today so much is online, right? Whether you do it on a blog or social media, on your YouTube channel, it doesn't matter what you use. There's many avenues, but then also speech is also prohibited in certain public areas where you're not supposed to say things in school and universities. And what that does is, at first, it creates a shock reaction by the people. They say, oh my God, someone's trying to tell me what I can or cannot say. But when this is being implemented more and more and more, people, kind of like always, they just get used to it. And what happens then is that a reprogramming of the mind and the habits happens where people are being taught that they can be restricted in their speech, that they can be limited. It doesn't really matter what the topic is, more than that it is possible in the first place, and that they will accept it. And so they will go and say, well, okay, let's not talk about this. While we're online, let's not talk about this. If I'm on my YouTube channel, let's not talk about this. And while we who have, grown up with free speech and who know this, we might still have a very strong will and very strong spirit to keep going and to keep also fighting for free speech. The younger generation that's not so used to it simply goes along with, okay, this is just something we do like everything else. It's just maybe, it's even a virtue signaling thing where they say, hey, it's wrong to talk about this. We don't want to spread misinformation. And so it's they're being programmed. Their minds are being programmed. And so they will learn that it is okay for the government, that they have the ability and that they have the authority to ban certain topics from even being talked about, or from topics to be talked about in a certain way. And once this programming happens within, a generation, 10, 15, 20 years, it has a massive cultural and societal effect. It really begins to affect everyone, because the next generation simply will not have a memory of what free speech is, and will simply go along with what the current theme is. And so we're seeing this. These first 2 years, or 2.5 years of a new era, if you will, have been very significant when it comes to that. This is a reprogramming, and it's becoming stricter and stricter. It's really important for us to understand this. The third is kind of connected to this one, and this is really the shocker, because nobody talks about this, or almost nobody, and most people simply don't understand it because it's not being discussed. You all might have heard of blockchain technology in connection with Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and we all have a vague understanding of what this technology might be, but most of us don't understand the depths of it. And without going into the technicalities too much, if you want to look at it really broad, what blockchain technology is not just something that you can use for currency or crypto. It is a whole new system. And what the future, a very near future, holds is that basically they want to switch everything over to blockchain, where you will then insert historic information, cultural information, information about certain periods, right? If you look at the COVID era, let's take that. What they will do is they will insert that information into the blockchain, which will serve as the new medium to receive and look at information. However, once something is in the blockchain, it is extremely difficult to alter it, extremely difficult to change, edit, or add to it. Whereas, if you make a mistake in a history book, all you have to do is go and change it for the next edition, and once the next edition is printed, it's going to have the error removed. That's not nearly as easy in blockchain, which is the whole purpose of it. And so what they want to do is, and this is really important to understand, they want to keep true, authentic information away from the public official channels long enough so when this is inserted into the blockchain, you will only have the narrative that you see on the news and the narrative that the government gives you about any given subject. You will not have different sides. The whole internet will essentially be based on blockchain, so you will not have different sides to the story. You will just have the official narrative, and it will be extremely, extremely difficult to transport authentic, real, true information that is different from the official version. So this is why they are so whitewashing everything, and this is where they're keeping the mainstream media channels clear of certain subjects completely. If you've noticed, there are certain subjects that mainstream channels, mainstream media will not even touch. It's not that they will tell you a different story about it, they won't even touch them. This is the reason why. So you will not even have a record of it being discussed, and once it's in the blockchain, it will basically be almost impossible to add real truth or even investigative information to it. So this is something that's very overlooked, and I encourage you to look into this deeper, to research this for yourself. Now, there is a lot of debate about whether in a medical emergency or any other emergency, you should restrict free speech. My belief is 100% that if we really do this on a systemic level, really begin to ban free speech, restrict it fully like we've seen the attempt in the past 2 years, our society is as we know it, and even our development as we know it, is completely over. Because the problem is, once you get people to accept it one time, they will accept it over and over again if just given a good enough reason. So our quest and our fight and our love and our spirit, our energy should go in the preservation of free speech 100%. You should never stop speaking freely, never shy away from speaking freely. If you make a mistake, just own it and correct it. That's fine. It's better that we make mistakes than not even try to question narratives and to question the official version of something. That's really, really important. And that's why we have been looking for a long time, Kristin and I, to expand the Inspired journey, to expand the Inspired channel and tribe. We've been looking for a place that we can call home, that is in sync with our values, that will never censor us, that will never take away this ability for us to speak freely. So we will announce something very, very soon. We're moving over to a new platform in a new way where we will communicate completely freely, uncensored, unfiltered, authentically inspired. We will never, ever shy away from a subject there if we feel inspired to discuss it. If you scroll through the links in the video description, you might even find the link already there, but we'll talk more about it in the upcoming live streams and videos. So please stay tuned, but we're really excited to share this with you, a new community that we're building there, uncensored, unfiltered, authentically inspired and free. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a fighter for free speech, for being a lover of free speech, for being someone who stands up for free speech. It really means the world to us. We love you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you soon.